Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a geopolitical situation that's really heating up.
Yeah, it's definitely reshaping the global landscape, isn't it?
Yeah,
And how we think about future conflicts, too.
exactly. So our mission today really is to unpack the complex and escalating tensions around China and Taiwan.
Right.
We're using insights from recent public statements and analysis, specifically from the sources you provided, trying to get you that, aha
A
moment.
shortcut to being well-informed, basically.
Yeah.
And for this deep dive, our main source is a specific online video. It offers a particular perspective, a certain lens on all this.
Okay.
So our goal is just to distill the core claims, the threats, the strategies presented there. We're not endorsing any viewpoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just trying to understand the different angles outlined in the material, help you connect the dots.
Okay, perfect. So let's unpack this. Our source starts with China's stance, and it's incredibly clear.
No ambiguity there.
None. It says, quote, Taiwan belongs to China now and forever. We can reclaim our territory at any time.
Wow, okay.
And then,
Yeah.
the United States should not interfere unless they want war. Followed by, no power on earth can stop China from reclaiming Taiwan.
That's quite the declaration, and the source suggests this isn't just for, like, external show.
Exactly. It seems aimed internally, too, prepping their own population, making reunification feel inevitable. That psychological angle is key.
Right, and the source mentions Chinese state TV, right,
Yeah.
declaring the intention to reclaim Taiwan,
Yeah, and actively preparing citizens for war.
while apparently disregarding threats from former President Trump about attacking Beijing.
That's what the source claims, yeah.
Yep.
It indicates a pretty high level of determination, a strategic push to rally support at home.
Makes sense.
And then there's this new signal the source points out, China telling its own people to prepare for war.
Prepare in what way?
Well, including for potential political fallout, military action, economic sanctions, even isolation from the U.S. and the West.
That's comprehensive. Suggests they're willing to pay a significant price.
It seems so.
And the source ties this to Xi Jinping directly, shown in military uniform.
Yes, attributing that quote again.
Yeah.
We can reclaim our territory at any time. The United States should not interfere unless they want war. Taiwan is ours.
Reinforcing that resolve from the very top.
And then there are the war games.
Ah, yes, the new drills around Taiwan. The source frames those as a warning.
Yep. A direct warning against separatist actions by what China calls Taiwan independence forces
So any move towards more formal independence.
is seen as an unacceptable situation, a provocation. These aren't just practice runs. They're definite signals.
Direct messages, clearly communicated.
So with all these statements, the drills, the source suggests a big shift.
How so?
It warns, quote, Taiwan is no longer just an island, but a fuse for a major war.
So it's moved beyond just a territorial claim in their view.
It seems like it. It's framed as China preparing for what it sees as maybe an unavoidable clash, to assert an unnegotiable national right.
Suggesting a point of no return might be closer than we think.
That's the implication. Okay, so China's position is stark. But what about the U.S.? How does the source present their role?
Well, it pivots quickly to the American side, highlighting something pretty controversial.
Which is?
That leaked audio clip of Trump threatening China that America would attack Beijing if China takes Taiwan. The source frames this as, like, fuel on the fire.
Right, not just a threat, but something that maybe solidified China's view that the U.S. is seeking confrontation.
Exactly. That's how the source presents it, almost like it justified China's own escalation in their eyes. The material also brings up a past U.S. operation, the stealth bomber mission targeting Iran's nuclear program.
As a signal.
Yeah, a signal to both Russia and China, the message being, no place on Earth is beyond the reach of the U.S. stealth bomber force.
A demonstration of global reach, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And the source makes an interesting point about China's history.
Go on.
Historically, they've been reluctant about war, about preferring trade, avoiding sanctions.
It's really good.
But the source argues Trump's arrival, his clear intent for trade, economic, and military war against China changed that dynamic.
Because the U.S. started seeing China as a direct challenger. Economically, militarily.
That's the idea, particularly the Trump administration and Republicans, according to the source.
And the source contrasts this with Russia, saying even outdated U.S. weapons can easily defeat Russia.
Yeah, and pointing out Russia's reliance on imported electronic components despite sanctions.
Which really highlights China as a different kind of challenge, doesn't it? More
Yeah,
self-sufficient.
Exactly. And that's a key assertion in the source. China has developed everything itself now.
Mm.
It links Trump's tariffs, the trade restrictions, as this major turning point.
Yeah.
China saw it as the U.S., quote, breaking China's rice bowl.
That's a powerful phrase, threatening their basic economic stability.
Right. And according to the source, that's when China decided it will no longer yield to America and must fight back.
So a fundamental shift in strategy, potentially triggered by those U.S. policies.
That's the argument presented. It became less about just growth, more about asserting sovereignty, even if it meant potential isolation.
And militarily, their confidence seems high. The source mentions this, right?
It does. It claims their carrier fleets and fighter jets are sufficient, which is quite a bold statement.
It challenges some conventional wisdom, yeah.
Yeah.
Does it give examples?
It cites the PL-15 missile test from a
Wow.
J-10C fighter during that 4-day Pakistan war simulation or exercise.
Oh, the PL-15, that's their advanced long-range air-to-air missile.
Supposedly, yes. And deploying it on the J-10C, their domestic fighter, is presented as proof of self-reliance, advanced capability.
Okay.
And then there's this really intriguing bit, Iran.
Iran. How does Iran fit in?
The source claims Iran is becoming a proving ground for U.S. and China technology.
A proving ground. What does that mean?
It suggests a new Israel-Iran conflict might happen before any Taiwan invasion.
Why?
The implication is the U.S. might use that scenario to test and sort of showcase its defense systems, its missiles, almost like a dress rehearsal before Taiwan.
Wow. Strategic positioning. Testing things out in a proxy conflict first.
That's the idea presented. A tactical move often overlooked.
Okay, so zooming out,
Mm-hmm.
beyond just China, Taiwan, the U.S., what about the wider international picture?
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, as the source puts it. It claims the U.S. is escalating the conflict by forming alliances and strengthening military power.
Escalating how? Which alliances?
It specifically mentions the U.S. Defense Department pressuring Asia-Pacific allies, Japan and Australia,
Pressuring them to do what?
to clarify their military roles, essentially, to commit to U.S. war plans if there's a confrontation with China over Taiwan.
So pushing for bigger defense budgets, more readiness from them.
Exactly, drawing them deeper into the potential conflict.
Okay, and other players.
North Korea gets mentioned, described as Russia's strongest ally.
Right.
It highlights that meeting between Kim Jong-un and Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov, confirming full support for Russia's actions in Ukraine.
And the source suggests that support might extend to China regarding Taiwan.
Potentially, yeah. It also mentions hopes for a future Putin-Kim summit, a sign of tightening military ties alongside the Putin-Xi relationship.
So you have these blocs seemingly hardening. But then the source throws in a curveball.
It does, a counter-narrative. It says, the U.S. is now causing issues with its own allies through its tariff policies.
Ah, the economic friction, leading to dissatisfaction.
Yeah, some allies feeling the U.S. is only talking about money, lacking sincerity.
And how might that affect things, does the source say?
It suggests this perceived lack of sincerity might affect military cooperation.
So undermining the very alliances the U.S. is trying to strengthen.
Potentially, yeah. It points to a possible vulnerability in the U.S. strategy if allies feel it's just transactional.
Okay, so with all this swirling around, what about Taiwan itself? How are they reacting?
Well, the source says they're reacting directly, conducting heavy military drills almost daily.
Preparing for what might come.
Seems like it. A clear signal of their own readiness or attempt at readiness.
And then the source brings it all together with a pretty stark conclusion.
Yeah, it's ominous. Quote, the war that will define the direction of the New World Order is getting closer.
Chilling, really.
Mm-hmm.
Forces you to pause and think about the weight of it all.
Absolutely.
So, as we wrap up this part of the discussion, what stands out most to you from all this? How might these pieces connect to shape what comes next?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Okay, so just to summarize our deep dive today,
Right.
we've looked at China's really firm stance on Taiwan,
Unwavering, yeah.
the different, sometimes conflicting U.S. responses and strategies.
And this whole complex web of alliances forming, shifting.
Right, all pointing towards a potential major shift in how international relations work.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, like the source suggests, this isn't just an isolated issue, is it? It's part of a much larger evolution in global power dynamics.
A challenge to the existing world order.
Exactly, with new kinds of self-reliance and strategic partnerships emerging.
So here's a final thought for you, building on this material. How might this increasing pressure on traditional alliances,
Mm-hmm.
combined with the rise of these, self-sufficient military powers, How might that fundamentally change our whole concept of global security, of conflict resolution?
What replaces the old frameworks?
Yeah, what new ways of navigating this landscape might emerge, especially without those familiar guardrails we've relied on in the past? Something to think about.